Rifling is undoubtedly the most important skill in Counter-Strike. Every round you spend without a rifle is meant to work towards getting one in your hands while taking them away from the enemy. You'll probably spend the majority of your time playing Counter-Strike using an AK or an M4, but how do you get better with them? Hey ProGuides fam, I'm Boggs, and I hope you're all ready to learn, because today, we are going over 5 hidden tricks to become a better rifler. Whether you're just climbing the ranks or plan on becoming a pro, each of these tricks will be crucial to your success. So without further ado, let's get right into the first trick.
Real quick, I just want to let you all know that we have a 25% off discount going on the website right now. All you got to do is go in, check out, and enter code FPS25 to get that 25% off discount.
We're going to start off with the concept of trading. Trading is essentially just making sure to even out the numbers when one of your teammates dies. As a terrorist, ensuring a trade is crucial if your teammate doesn't get the kill they were looking for. An even number situation that would result from a trade, such as a 4v4 or a 3v3, will always favor the T side since the CTs will have to spread out more thinly across the map. From there, all you have to do is trade out while taking the site. At worst, you'll be in a 2v2 afterplant, which is a pretty good position to be in. You should always position yourself close enough to your teammates to peek together on each new angle, ensuring a 2 versus 1 fight at any time. Even if your opponent can get the kill on your teammate, they won't be able to shoot you until after they finish their first kill. You basically double the amount of bullets being shot at your opponent, ideally from multiple directions, so that your opponent can never have a man advantage. Trading occurs throughout the round, both on T and CT sides. At the start of each round, terrorists need to take parts of the map together for map control, so make sure you can trade whoever runs in first. While executing, each time a player dies, this should give a bit of information on where the CTs holding site are playing, ideally enabling a trade from the next players until the site is clear. CTs then need to trade out while retaking the site, pushing together while clearing each angle. If the terrorists position themselves properly in a crossfire or a decent setup, then even if one player dies, the other should be able to guarantee the trade. I'm sure you get the point by now, but trading should constantly be on your mind while rifling. You should never rush out alone if a teammate is nearby to come with you, and you shouldn't bait a teammate if you see them going for a peek. While going for banana control and inferno, you should try to have a teammate right behind you to ensure a trade. If you're holding a site and you notice that you're not in a tradable position, consider moving to a better spot where a teammate could easily support you or trade you if needed. If you don't have anyone around, consider playing further back since the trade is essentially impossible. An example of this would be holding a site on Mirage alone. Playing under balcony will pretty much ensure your death against an execute, so it might be better to sit a ticket booth or call for a teammate to crossfire with you from jungle. Any way you can ensure that your death isn't wasted will improve your team's chances of winning. But before we move on to the next trick, it is of course time for our question of the day. What is your favorite rifle to use? Personally, I've really been enjoying the A1S lately. There's nothing more satisfying to me than beaming a few players through smoke or getting those crisp double dinks, not to mention no tracers, so nobody knows where I'm coming from. But what about you? Are you all for the one taps with the AK? Or do you prefer the faster fire rate of the M4A4? I'd love to hear about your favorite rifles down in the comments below, so be sure to let us know. With that out of the way, let's get into trick number 2. Positioning in Counter-Strike is key, whether you want to trade, a free kill, or just need to survive for an execute. You'll need a great sense of positional awareness to ensure any of these. Positional awareness means understanding where your teammates, cover, and opponents all are relative to you. You should check your minimap frequently for information on how close or far away your teammates are to you, and whether you can be better positioned for a trade. If they're too far away, you're better off playing as a lurk until it's time to regroup, ensuring the enemy can't pick you off and take control of the area you're at. Just playing the game will increase your map knowledge of where cover is, but try to always position yourself so that you're exposed to as few angles as possible using the cover around you. Always put yourself in a spot where you only have to hold one angle and can still hide or fall back if needed. Use the information opponents give you, whether it is utility thrown from certain spots, noise, or just common spots they play to understand where best to look. If you know where your opponents are playing, you can then decide how to outplay them with utility or a hard peek. These 3 pieces of information are essentially tools for positioning yourself best and can help you decide where you should be at any point in the round. You can improve each tool in a number of ways, but we'll give you one for each. For understanding where your teammates are, your minimap certainly helps, but make sure to call out to your teammates where you are relative to them if your spacing isn't great. If you see a teammate a few feet ahead of you, tell them to wait up while you catch up to them so that you can swing together. If someone's far behind you, just wait for them before swinging so that they can trade you. Communicating what you're holding will also help your teammates position themselves properly, so make sure you're giving your teammates a good idea of what you're thinking in each situation. To better understand cover, you can spend your time in deathmatch focusing on isolating one-on-one fights, thinking about each piece of cover you're using with each fight. Move from angle to angle, ensuring you won't be easily shot from anywhere you aren't looking. With enough practice, this awareness of cover throughout the map will start to become a force of habit. As for information, you'll need to keep your volume up and your shift key pressed down while lurking around the map. Listen for any footsteps on sight, jumps, scopes, pins pulled, or anything else your opponent may do. Once you understand where your opponents are set up, you can catch them off guard and isolate a free kill using your own utility or another teammate alongside you. Positional awareness can be considered an extension of game sense, and even pros aren't perfect. If you want more tips on how to improve your game sense, I recommend checking out Fallen's course on our website or talking to any of our coaches at ProGuides.com. Both can help you out with a wide variety of skills in Counter-Strike, whether it be positional awareness, aim, or anything else. Make sure to come check them out if you really want to improve your gameplay. When it comes to rifling, you're going to find yourself in a wide variety of situations. Trick number 3 is essentially to just not be a one-trick pony. You need to be ready and able to play any role your team needs, whether it be entering, lurking, or supporting, based on the round. If you have the best spawn for a rush, you shouldn't end up being last in, since you're giving up the element of surprise that comes with the first spawn. If you have no utility while your team is executing, the same applies. You need to be comfortable going in first if you want to be a better rifler, meaning you need to have confidence running in and making as much space as possible for your teammates behind you. It's okay if you die, as long as you push up and find information for your teammates to trade you. If you're in the front but end up hiding or get scared by a bit of utility, your team won't have anywhere to go, and you'll probably end up losing the round. Even if you consider yourself best at playing support or lurking, you'll need to just suck it up and run in first sometime. Other times, though, you might end up on the complete opposite side of the map from where your teammates are executing, and that's okay. In these situations, you'll need to become a lurker. For lurking, I suggest checking out our lurking guide on our channel. Regardless, your job is essentially to cut off the opponent's rotations, so playing quietly and aggressively is crucial. You don't need to hide and wait to flank when your teammates are already dead, but you also don't need to rush out and give up a free kill before your teammates have even executed. What you do can determine whether you win or lose the round, so it's crucial that you're confident as a lurker even if you don't expect to end up in that spot. As for supporting, this should be a no-brainer, yet I constantly see players that don't even know basic ace smokes or Mirage. Every good rifler should know a wide variety of utility from flashes to smokes across every map they play. Being able to throw a reliable pop flash can ensure that your teammates don't get mowed down by an op, and knowing a few smokes can help your team execute when they're out of options. Great riflers will learn utility for both CT and T sides from both common and less common spots. Learning reliable mid flashes from your site as CT on Mirage, for example, will allow you to support your teammates even if you're not directly playing mid with them. Being able to play any role required is crucial to climbing the ranks, since you can easily fit into any team you play with depending on what your team needs. Moving on, our fourth trick has to do with concealing information from the enemy. It's a concept that's easy to understand, but very difficult to master. On a basic level, concealing information can mean just moving around the map quietly, especially when near a spot your opponents might be able to hear you. Running as a terrorist in T-spawn and Mirage isn't a problem at the start of a round, obviously, since there's no way a CT could possibly hear you. But if the CTs decide to take mid early in the round, running T-spawn can now give away which site you're running to, assuming a CT is pushed up to boxes. Places like apartments or palace are other good examples of this, since running at either location will give away your position to any CTs playing on site. You also need to stay quiet while rotating to a site, whether you're a T or a CT. Mid to late round, any bit of information can give away what the other team is thinking, so you must stay silent. Staying quiet is pretty essential, but what else can you do? At a pro level, you might notice teams will throw the same utility round after round to make themselves look less predictable. On Dust 2, a team might throw an Xbox smoke at the start of each round, blocking off valuable information to the CTs of whether or not the Ts had intends on taking catwalk. In your own games, you can conceal whether or not you plan on taking a part of the map throughout each game by defaulting with certain utility, meaning you throw a piece of utility at the start of each round to deny any information or pushes from the opponent. On Inferno, this could be a Molotov on car at the start of each round or a flash up mid, while on Overpass this could be a Molotov and flash to stop the short B push. Defaulting with this utility helps to eliminate any patterns your opponents might start to see in your gameplay, making it harder to counter you. It also allows you to play with your opponent's expectations. If you've dumped all of your utility on each round on Banana, you can suddenly switch it up with just a flash and push to completely catch your opponents off guard. If you can properly conceal information, you'll ensure that every play you make is unpredictable. Our final trick for today is to think about when you should be taking contact. Taking contact just means exposing yourself to your opponent, generally in the form of taking a fight. While holding B side on Inferno, you might play U-Box while your teammate plays CT in a Crossfire. If your teammate gets smoked off, you'll have to take first contact, meaning the opponents will see and fight you first. As soon as you can get a kill or take contact, your teammate should swing out and kill any players looking at you. Ideally, this makes it easy for the player taking second contact to clean up any kills the player on first contact could not finish. But it's not always that perfect. If the second player swings too early or too late, both of the fights can turn into one player swinging into a bunch of opponents, with both players dying without even a trade. The concept of contact is crucial on CT side, since essentially it's how you'll be able to hold a site while outnumbered by terrorists. A good CT setup will consist of 2 or more players constantly swapping off who's taking contact, sometimes peeking together and sometimes baiting for one another. You can assume whoever is taking the contact will have all of the opponent's attention, so while that person takes contact, their teammate can either flash for them or swing out and kill any unsuspecting terrorists. After taking first contact and getting a kill, the first player can hide and let the second take all of the attention before swinging out again while the opponents are busy. Playing with contact will help you confuse your opponents, allowing you to get multiple kills while down on numbers. It's key for trading while in afterplant situations as well. If one player takes contact on any CTs trying to tap the bomb, the other player can completely hide and essentially bait their teammate trying to just wait out the bomb. Even if the first player dies, the second one generally won't be expected and can just swing out for a free trade kill. The concept of contact is definitely a higher level one, but if you can start to recognize when you should be taking contact and when you should be hiding, you'll be able to become a much better rifler on both CT and T. To wrap it up, there's a ton that goes into rifling. You have to think about your positioning, what information you're giving out, and the best ways to support your teammates, all while ensuring you hit your shots at all times. You need to be able to play any role required of you depending on the round, and be ready to trade your teammates if they end up dying. It may sound like a lot, but if you can keep these tricks in mind while in-game, I'm sure you'll become a better rifler. That's all we have for today, friends. If you learned something, be sure to hit that like button and ring the notification bell to stay up to date with every upload. Let us know which rifle you like the most in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Good luck!